Summer is here, and I want to give you some of my favorite products, specifically complexion products, to make my makeup last as long as possible. Welcome if you are new here. My name is Rachel, and if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. This video is actually a collab with another creator, Eve Pavlova. If you don't know Eve, you should go over and check out her channel. She is another small creator just like me, and she is absolutely beautiful, and she creates amazing makeup looks, and she does a lot of the similar videos that I do on my channel, a lot of multiple looks with palettes, a lot of makeup reviews. She also does a little bit of vlogging as well, so I will link Eve's channel down below in the description box. She's also going to be showing her favorite complexion products for the summertime as well, so I will link her video down below. I'm excited to see what she picks, and the cool thing about both of us is we both have oily skin and we both live in Florida. So we need our makeup to last as long as possible. And so we've got some products that hopefully will help you out if you're wanting the same thing. I'm gonna link all of the products down below in the description box if you wanna check them out. And if you are here from Eve's channel, hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoy it and consider subscribing before you leave. So we're each picking 10 products, and these are 10 products that really, honestly, they are my go-to summer products, and honestly, my go-to products year-round, again, because I have very oily skin. I am 36 years old. I almost said 37. I almost forgot how old I was. I feel like once you get above 35, it doesn't really matter anymore. And like I said, live in Florida, and above all, I teach ballroom dancing. I've been a professional ballroom dancer for 14 years. So I need my makeup to last when I go to competition and I am sweating and I have a full face of makeup on. These are some of my go-to products for that as well. So let's start off with, in my opinion, the most important product to use in the summer, which is sunscreen. And my favorite sunscreen, my sunscreen of choice, is the Bliss Blockstar Invisible Daily Sunscreen, SPF 30. This is a mineral sunscreen. I have very acne-prone skin. So many sunscreens feel greasy on my face, they break me out, and this one is one of the only ones I've found that really agrees with my skin. It adds almost like a filter effect, almost like a makeup primer smoothing effect to the skin. It is tinted. When you squeeze it out on your hand, I hate to waste it, but here we are. I'm not wasting it because I'm showing it to you. So it does have a slight tint to it. Now for my personal skin tone, the tint pretty much matches me. So I think if you're a lot fairer or a lot deeper than me, I don't know how well this would work for you, but once you rub it into the skin, it kind of dissipates so that basically it's tinted so it doesn't have a white cast, if that makes sense. It's not greasy, it doesn't feel like overly hydrating, but I wouldn't say it's overly mattifying either. It smells kind of strong, but actually it smells kind of good, I think. It doesn't smell sunscreeny necessarily. So I like this under makeup. I like it when I'm not wearing makeup. It's just a go-to sunscreen for me. They sell it at Ulta. It goes on sale quite often. So of course I will link it down below. This is my #1 go-to facial sunscreen for the summertime. I have two primers to talk about. They're both from the same brand, and they're both, I think personally, for different purposes and even different skin types. So the first one I want to talk about is one that when I first tried it, I really didn't love it that much, but my skin has gone through an evolution. It has gone through a big change in the past, I would say year and a half. I used to have really nice skin. I took it for granted. Never had breakouts, except maybe when I was having my period. I had pretty much normal skin. It wasn't dry, it wasn't oily. But my skin has become really oily and acne prone, I would say over the last 6 months, 6 to 8 months. And this has been helping me out so much. So this is the Milk Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer. This I really love to put on the areas on my face where I am extremely oily. I do not put this all over my face because it is very mattifying. So I really target the places on my face where I break out, where I'm very oily, like around my chin area and my cheek area. And this provides a really good barrier between my foundation and my skin to absorb the oil that may penetrate into my skin and upset my skin. And it keeps me less oily throughout the day. So that is really nice. So this is a great targeted primer for those oily areas on the face. I really, really enjoy this one. And it is kind of that typical silicone-y, smoothing type of primer. I don't really care for the smoothing aspect of it. I just care for the oil absorbing aspect. And then from that same brand, this was for years my go-to primer when I had more normal skin. So this is maybe for you if you have normal skin. For dance competitions, I would put this primer on and my foundation would not be moving the entire time. And that is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I really do believe this works like it says it works. It grips onto the primer and it adds a little bit of hydration. So again, if you're more normal to dry, this is a perfect long-lasting primer that's not gonna dry you out, something like this, if you're not looking for a mattifying aspect. This does a great job of gripping onto the makeup. Now, I've not personally tried the other versions of this, like e.l.f. has another version of this, but I've not personally tried it, so I can't speak for that. But the Milk one, I think definitely works, and it was my go-to primer. It is a little too much for me now with oily skin, like a little too hydrating. It does break me out. So if you're sensitive, maybe not, but if you're normal to dry, this is a great primer to make your makeup last longer. So when it comes to foundation for the summertime, if I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't wear foundation all the time. I really only wear it when I feel like I really need that coverage, or if there's a special event, there's something that I want to go that extra mile. But on a daily basis, I will either just spot conceal or just not wear any makeup at all whatsoever if I'm really going to be sweating. But I do have two foundations that I want to mention if you do want to wear foundation, or when I want to wear foundation. These ones really last all day, especially if I use them in conjunction with these other products. So my number one favorite foundation of all time currently is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. I think this foundation is just magnificent. I think it's perfect, okay? I mean, the only thing that's not perfect is the shade, but I make it work. So I wear the shade 128 Warm Nude. It is what I'm wearing on my face today. It is the most perfect lightweight, medium coverage. I would say satin matte. It's not overly matte. It's not drying. So I think even if you have normal skin, you would be able to wear this without being uncomfortable. It's not chalky. It blurs enough that it doesn't look like a mask. And this stuff lasts all day. It doesn't crack, it doesn't look crumbly, it doesn't fade off my skin, and it just looks good all day. I wore this on my wedding day, so you know I trust it. There's a million shades. It is incredibly affordable. This is my go-to foundation year-round, but especially in the summer if I want to add a medium coverage, like today if I'm wearing like dramatic eye makeup and I want to put something on my skin, this is my go-to. I just know that I can count on it. With a lot of foundations in my collection, they really irritate my skin. They get into my pores. They break me out. They give me like little bumps on my face. Many foundations do. And this one does not irritate my skin. So again, if you have sensitive skin, maybe you would enjoy this as well. Fully enjoy this foundation. And then if you're going to an event, like if you're going to a wedding or something special and you want a full coverage foundation, I think that the CoverGirl Outlast Extreme Wear Light Airbrush Finish 24-hour transfer resistant liquid foundation, that is the longest name in the world. This foundation is so good. I can't wear it right now because I'm not tan enough for the shade that I have, which is 842 medium beige. But again, this foundation has many shades. The shade range is great. And they're both drugstore foundations. I really prefer drugstore foundations. I think there's plenty of foundations at the drugstore that work great. And this is one that I love. It's kind of the same idea as this, except it's definitely more full coverage and it definitely adds much more of an airbrushed effect to the skin for a special event. It lasts a really long time. I would say it's a little more mattifying than the Fit Me. I would say it's a true matte. Again, I don't think it's overly drying, but this is coming from someone with oily skin. So love this one for more full coverage events in the summertime, and I definitely recommend this one if that's what you're looking for. Now, of course, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. The way to make your makeup last, especially your foundation or your concealer, is to powder it. And this powder is by far the most mattifying, long-lasting powder in my collection. It is the One Size Ultimate Setting Powder. I have the translucent version. If you put this on your face, your makeup is not gonna move. It is not going to move. It won't even think about moving. Now this, to me, unless I'm gonna be outside in the hot sun, I don't love to set my under eyes with this because I feel like it's a little much, a little drying for my under eyes at age 36. But if you are younger than me and you have no lines under your eyes, congratulations. But I think for the rest of the face, especially my T-zone, I love to set my T-zone with this. In the summertime, it absorbs the oil, it keeps me matte. I mean, for a long time, not forever, but it's a really, really good mattifying, blurring setting powder. This is the translucent version, but they have other versions. They recently came out with a pink version if you do want to set your under eyes with it. They have a couple of tinted versions as well. There's a lot of product in here. The packaging is really cute. For a Sephora brand, it's pretty affordable. So this is my recommendation for a loose setting powder that is going to keep you matte, that is going to set your makeup down, and it's not going to move. So for bronzer and for blush, my trick to making my makeup last in the summertime or anytime is layering a cream product underneath a powder product. And I only have 4 products left to talk about, so I didn't mention a cream bronzer, but just as a little bonus, I love the Milk Makeup Matte Cream Bronzer Stick in Baked. That's a great one to put underneath powder bronzer. And this powder bronzer, I don't necessarily think it's like for long wearing purposes, but I love this in the summer, and I'll tell you why. So this is the Flower Beauty Heat Wave Luminous Bronzer. I have mine in the shade L1 Sunrise. Now, the unfortunate thing about this bronzer is there's only 2 shades, which is ridiculous, in my opinion. I love how this looks on my skin. This looks like really gray and cool toned in the pan. It is what I'm wearing on my face today, but it is not gray and cool toned on the face. It is a perfect neutral tone. It is actually a slightly glowy bronzer, which I don't really prefer most of the time, but I think this bronzer does it so well that it looks natural, like you're glowing, like you're sun-kissed, not like you're sparkling like a vampire from Twilight. And I love wearing this on my bare skin in particular. I feel like it just morphs into the skin. It becomes one with the skin. And this color mimics the color that my body tans. So I think it looks very realistic, or let's say as realistic as a bronzer can be. The tone, the finish, the blendability, and how it sits on the skin is really what makes this a go-to for the summer for me. I have 2 blushes to talk about, a cream blush and a powder blush. I should have cleaned my cream blush off before the video because it's really dirty. Ew! There's no saving this, so please don't judge me. My favorite, like, long wearing, just go-to, I can count on it cream blush formula is the original Fenty Beauty Cream Blush. This was like one of the first cream blushes I ever tried, and I still think it stood the test of time. I still love it. And the one that I did have 2 shades. I decluttered one a while ago, but the one I have is Petal Poppin', which is just like this really pretty pink color. I love, and again, I wore this on my wedding day as well, underneath a powder blush. It's just a really pretty, flattering pink blush. I'm not a big pink blush person, but this one, for whatever reason, maybe because it's just more of a neutral tone, I feel like it just looks so pretty on the skin. It brightens up my face, and it is very long wearing. It applies very easily. It's not overly glowy, but it's not chalky looking. It is just a good satin finish, which I think for me with oily skin, it looks really nice on my skin. It doesn't look greasy, but it doesn't look patchy. So I really love the Fenty Beauty Cream blushes, and I think they're coming out with more shades, so I'm so excited to see what other shades they come out with. But Petal Poppin' in particular is one of my favorites, definitely for like spring and summer. And then in terms of a long wearing powder blush, the #1 long wearing powder blush in my collection is the Buxom Wonderlux Primer Infused Blush. I only have 1 shade, which I really want to get more eventually. This one is in the shade Mykonos, and this is my favorite blush. Like, a peachy blush for the summertime is beautiful. This one lasts on my face all day. And it gives kind of the same sort of finish as the bronzer that I was talking about. It has a glow to it without being sparkly, without being unflattering, but it definitely looks healthy, like you have moisture in your skin. And I love this color. I love the finish. I love how long it lasts. It says primer infused. They're not kidding. And if you don't like this color, they have several other colors as well. Highly recommend this for a long wearing, healthy looking blush for the summer. And then last but not least, another step that I don't really do all the time, but I do it when I want my makeup to last. I really need it to stay on my face, especially when I'm dancing. This is like the only setting spray that I bring with me. It is the Urban Decay All Nighter. I do really feel like it makes my makeup last throughout sweating, throughout being oily. It is just a go-to classic setting spray for me. I really don't wear setting spray on a daily basis, so when I do want my makeup to last, I will take that extra step to set my face with this spray. This is really the only setting spray I use. There are a couple other ones that I use, like if I over apply powder just to make it melt into my skin, but this one I use more for the fact of longevity. All right, and that is it for my summer complexion makeup favorites to make your makeup last longer. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I will link Eve's channel and her video down below in the description box. Go on over to her channel and tell her I said hello. And now I want to hear from you. Leave in the comments some of your favorite makeup products, complexion products, whatever you want to put down in the comments to recommend to me, things that you love to wear in the summertime to make your makeup last longer, that stand through the heat, through the sweating. I would love to know your recommendations. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot when you do that. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing before you leave. I do upload videos weekly, and I would love to see you back on my channel again. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.